You're listening to Chat.Travel, a podcast series from MyTravelThru. Hello, welcome to MyTravelThru, and this is the podcast Chat.Travel. Chat.Travel is the podcast when we meet with professional travelers to talk about their careers, how they make it here, and also what's next in the career milestone for them. And today we are in this coffee shop in Da Nang City, which is known for the beautiful beaches. But the weather today is not really ideal for a walk on the beach, so we have to stay here. And to welcome our guest, today we have Mr. Tan Mai, the CEO of MyTravelThru. Hello, and welcome you to Chat.Travel.
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
So, although you are starting a business in Da Nang, but I know that you're not from Da Nang City, right?
Yes.
How is it the journey to here in Da Nang for you? What it was like?
I was here first time in 2015.
2015?
Yes, I moved from the US straight to Da Nang. I was offered a few positions in different working environment in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. However, the director of human resources in one of the biggest resort here in Da Nang gave me a call when I was still in the US, and she said that Da Nang is famous for being the most livable city in Vietnam. So why don't you check it out? And then I was like, yeah, okay, why don't I give it a try?
Do you remember how many jobs do you have before you moved to Da Nang?
I think around 3 or 4 big jobs, with the titles and here and there. I was in Hanoi, in the old quarters. I worked in a couple of hotels. I was in the JW Marriott Hanoi from the pre-opening times. That was one of the very first modern 5-star hotels in Hanoi. As you know that now, celebrities and head of states, they stay there a lot. So I also worked there for, I think, during the pre-opening time and for a year. Then I moved to the US. I worked there for under a management trainee programs. And then I was in Atlanta, Georgia for a while. Then I moved back here. So it was like 3 to 4 jobs, but mainly in the hospitality industry.
So you've been to the US, and I see that many people talk about the American dream. It's like you can do anything without the background of being born in a rich family also. So what is the American dream is like for you? I think that you might feel a little bit related to that.
Yes, I think I has been asked this question quite a few times by a few different people from different backgrounds. My background is also very, very low starting points. I started from a province called Thanh Hóa province in Vietnam, where usually my family had to live on a budget of less than $1 a day in the 90s. So I was not very much lucky to be born in a rich family, but that doesn't stop me from, get out of that, so-called poverty. So my parents told me that the only way to get out of poverty is through education. So I decided to came to Hanoi and did my university in Hanoi for 4 years. And I think it was a big leap for me to move to the US for a trainee programs. But the life in Vietnam and the US is very much different. Even the words that when you talk about American dream that we've been talking about is, to me, it's so different before you move to the US and when you was there in the US, right? So before I moved to the US, basically what I did was very good preparations. I studied IELTS. Everybody study IELTS,
English
right?
test,
Yeah, the English test. So when I got my IELTS, it was, I think, 6.5 many, many years ago, 2013. I was proud of myself a lot. I work in a 5-star resort. I met different people. From celebrities, singers, businessmen, different people. I'll make sure that they're happy with their stay, and I also practice some English Then I first moved to the US, the first 2 months I did not understand even a word. That my roommate, he had to sit down with me on a couch and a sofa, and he had to teach me how to pronounce every single word, probably for like 2 words for every weeks, again, all over again. And I did not only see the good side of America, where you can study different things, where you can have the freedom. I also see the downside. One of the guy next door to me, when I was living there, he's actually about 70, 75 years old. He was blind. He was in the Vietnam War, and when I actually approached him and I told him that I'm from Vietnam, he was so emotional that he cried right there. That he was so surprised and emotion that this guy from Vietnam, where he's spent a memorable time of his life, and so he feel like, wow, Vietnam. He thought that it was still war in Vietnam at the moment, and he has no knowledge of what's actually is going on. So to me, that having the opportunity to be in America would not only change my perception on how I think about America, but the thing that made me happy was how can I change the perception that how American people think of Vietnam. I had this one of my friends. She was working as a bell person. Bell person is somebody who carried the bags, luggage when you enter the hotel. When I was there, I had a little cyst back here on back of my ear. I was so scared because I didn't speak much English. I spoke to her. She studied at the medical school nearby. And I was thinking is complicated problem, right? So through her education, the way she explained to me that is so simple. She explained about the cyst. She explained what causes this and how to cure it. From that moment, I feel that I was not lucky enough. I wanted to study in America because the education in America enables you as an ordinary person to be extraordinary sometimes, right? To make something complicated like my cyst to become a very normal.
Wow, I listened to your journey in America and I think it was such a ride. But if you have learned so much there, like, I mean, the education system and everything else, so what makes you come back to Vietnam? I mean, like, yeah, you say at the first that you came to Da Nang because there were so many opportunities, but what makes you change your mind and come back to Vietnam?
My visa expire.
Oh,
No, I was just kidding. Yeah.
yeah. With that reason, there's no other
Right,
reason.
that's
right?
correct. Yes, I of course in my visa expire. The program is designated for 12 months to 18 months. I could actually extended it. Some of my friends they extended. They spent longer time there, but I feel that whatever I've learned in America during that period, I think I could apply some of them already to the environment here in Vietnam. I think I could help companies and businesses in Vietnam, to adapt to the changes that is going on right now in some of the most prestigious countries in the world.
Yeah. And then you come back to Da Nang and you have some jobs, but then you decide to open a business, MyTravelThru. I mean, working in the hotels have so much advantage there. You can learn so many things and also come with good incomes. But then why do you decide to switch career into being a businessman?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question. I think to answer the question, it would take way longer than our postcard. But I would sum up in just working in a hotels industry, which I was I study hospitality management. This is what I've been trained for. I've worked for many years. I the hotels that I work for, they, hotel equip you with all the things that you need: education, training programs, even the food, even the housing. They provide you with all the necessity that you may need in life. You come with a good income as well. So waking up in the morning, I press the button, I go down the elevator to the restaurant. Somebody served me breakfast. When I go back from the workplace, somebody already did my laundry. I did not have to think of anything. Somebody else did everything for me, and and I, to me, I felt that my mind was in a comfort zone for too long. I did not think a lot. I did not think outside of the box. I worked there every day, just going through the same journey. So I feel that at that time I felt that it's just time to do something else. Whatever I've learned in hotels, I already learned. Whatever I need to achieve financially and personally, I think I already achieved. I think that was a good time that we need to move on. And then to the new step and the new careers, I found this opportunity to do transportation. So I decided to quit the hotels. When I quit the hotel industry, everybody questions. Everybody asks, why did you quit the hotel? It was good career, you could make anything with this position. I could move to another country to work. So I could move to the headquarters in Singapore. I could move to Korea or even the US. So I answered them the same way I'm speaking to you right now. I think that it's time to move to the next steps.
Speaking of comfort zone, it is the thing that I see in so many young people nowadays. And people also talk about things like when you have a family, you have children to take care of. It is not the suitable time to take risks. You gotta play safe. And do you think that there is a timestamp, like at a certain age, that you gotta stop taking risks and play safe because you got a whole family to feed or something like that?
I also see people at 18 and they drop schools and they make their own business successful. I also see people at the age of 50 or even 60, when they retire, they start a completely new business. Or I do see that people at my age still, struggle to find a job or to, put the food on the table and get a roof over the head. So there's a different person may have different time, maybe they have a different time zone or a different journey. So to me, that it's not how old that you can start a business. It's about how ready you are. For example, I was not ready with my financial situation when I quit the hotel. To be honest with you, I only started my business with, how much money I started? Can you guys give a number?
10?
10?
10,000. What is
$100.
$100.
Yeah. I started with $100. I did not have much money, but I didn't know what to do. I just know that I have to get there. So I have $100. I started the company. I came to the registration office. I did the registration. We got the company. I got the first client. And then the first client was happy. They recommended the second client, and then the business just come like that.
It's just blooming like that.
Yeah.
When did you start your business?
End of 2019, November.
That was just 3 months before the COVID-19. I mean, like, you're working in the travel industry and you're working in a startup during the COVID-19. I mean, so then there was a pandemic and everybody couldn't go anywhere. So how could you survive through that time? I mean, it was a whole darkness for the world and for the business.
Correct. Yes, I actually survived because I did not get a COVID I did not get a virus back then physically, but my business has suspended for a quite a long time, and we was up and down in a few a period of times. when on the first month that we started, our revenue was 140 million Vietnam dong, which is around $7,000. Our second month was $8,000, and the third month it was coming to $12,000, and then the third month, which is around starting of February, and then the COVID already hit. At that time, Vietnam already closed the border with China. But the country like Korea, we're still opening. We were still opening with Korea. We were still opening with a few European countries, and charter flight from Russia was still opening back then. I would never forget that date, March 20th, 2020. The entire country closed. I got the last flight ticket from Phuoc to Da Nang.
So from that, I can see that you are a very optimistic person. I mean, you remind me of the saying. It's a little bit cliche, the glass with the water in there, and the optimistic person would say that it is a half full glass, and the opposite would say that it is a half empty, and you are the half full. Do you think that the attitude you have, being optimistic, really does to your business, managing a business? I mean, like a businessman is often have to be practical. So how do you combine being optimistic, believing in the future, with being practical, knowing what the situation is actually at?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. I like to think so. I like to think that being optimistic is have to come from your within. So basically, if you have a team of 20 people, right, you can tell to the team that you are very optimistic, that tomorrow's going to be great, but it's only come from your mouth. But in your mind, you don't think so. You are scared. You know, you are devastated. You know, the thing that you think that going to be happening tomorrow, we have to shut out the business, but you still tell to the team that, hey, don't worry, whatever going to happen, we're going to be good tomorrow. That not gonna fix the situation. The team, the client, the customer deserve to know what is going to be happening. They deserve to know the truth. Myself the same. I am the business owner. Of course, I want to tell the team that, hey, don't worry, tomorrow's gonna be fine. But I also want to tell them that, hey, this is what's gonna happen. So to balance that out, I often have so-called risk management programs where I put the other stakeholders in the position where they need to learn that this is going to be the worst situation. However, this is going to be very good situation if this is going to happen, right? For example, today is going to be raining, right? So our original plan was being at the beach, but we could not be in the beach. So by the time that I was planning that we will be at the beach, I already planned to be here today as a option B. During the time I work in a hotel, I've learned something called thinking ahead. Thinking ahead is something that you basically is planning. When you plan for something in the future, you always think of different scenarios. If thing doesn't go well, what gonna be the actions of the people. We have for example, just a few days ago, the situations happened in Manila airport. So in the Manila airport, the power cut off in Manila. So the entire airport had shutdowns, and they actually have to divert, I think, 3 flights to Ho Chi Minh City, and they hold more than 50,000 people at the airport. That is something we call here in the business is called risk management, or the crisis manual must be in place where this situation can be foreseen. Sometimes cannot be foreseen, but sometimes can be foreseen. Meaning there's preparation, there's a step in advance that you can stop the worst from happening. It's already happened, right? But you cannot get it recover immediately, but you can prevent from happening, worsen the situation. So I believe that the people around you deserve to know what is going to happen. But at the same time, it's very important that the way you inspire them, the way you talk to them. That hey, tomorrow we have to close the company. So tomorrow we have to pay the pay the rent, right? And we are running out of money. They deserve to know that. And as a business owner's perspective, I have to be honest with myself first. Because if I cannot be honest with myself, how can I be honest with the team? And if the team doesn't know, they don't know what to expect.
So you're in an industry that you have to work with a lot of people, and even before you manage a business, you were a bell person, and so you work with people a lot. And do you think that the ability to communicate, to talk to people, and to all kind of people related, is that a natural talent of you, or something that you have to learn through ups and downs?
I don't think I have a such talent, even though people like to say that, and for me, I like to think so as well. But the fact is, the fact remains the facts that every skills you need to study, you need to learn with passion. As I explained earlier, bell person is somebody just carrying the luggage. That was my first job. I worked at the JW Marriott in Hanoi. Hopefully, some of the audiences will recognize me. I was in very, very early years in 2013, such a long time ago. What made me remember the most was I had to open the door. You know, you had to have the door open, close, open, close. Hanoi weather in summer is terrible, I have to tell you. Outside temperature is 40 Celsius and inside is 25 Celsius. When you open the door, the heat come to your face, and you close, the cold comes, right? So it's easier to get sick. And I open and close, I think, over 1,000 times in my shift, and I have to change the shoe every 2 months because I walk too much. I walk a lot, so that's why I have to change the shoe. Also, what made me remember was I was mentioned on TripAdvisor. I was mentioned on the thank you card, the letter that sent to the management, that they remember about me. They remember my name, even though I was nobody. I was just an ordinary person. I was just nobody, but they remember me. So I questioned myself that what I what did I do that make the customer remember me? And I consolidate the situation that I encountered to the customer, and I found that there's a one thing in common that I do, that is I do care about the customer, just like I do care of my brother, mother, or even my wife. I remember a time when we had this customer. He's a professional. He's a professor from Australia. He was a Korean, but he lived in Australia. He came all the way to Hanoi for business. He was asking for a good place to eat. He wanted a bowl of pho, a Vietnamese delicacy, and I asked him to show him the way to walk across the street to find that particular boutique pho shops. And also just very simply, I showed him, how correctly you can eat a bowl of pho. You have to put that, Chinese sticky, the donut, Chinese donut to the pho, and you have to put this kind of sauces, and you had a Hanoi beer. You have to oil everything together, then make a perfect bowl of pho, thing like this. He was listening. He did not pay attention, just like everybody else. But when he came to that first shop, he see the things, and he said, yeah, I remember what you said. So by the time I finished my shift, I walked all the way to that, I changed his uniform and I walked to that shop. I made sure that he got to the correct poise, and that he's enjoying that particular restaurant that I recommended. And then when he came back to the hotel, he was very happy. He said he did not expect that. The way that he cared, the way that I made him feel that he's taken care of is most important feeling. Just the same thing that I every day today that I tell to my team at MyTravelThru is that particularly to the customer service, because customer service is, I think, the most important department in the company. Of course, everybody is equally important, but customer service is somebody that face the customer. Even my customer service doesn't like face to face with the customer, but they speak to them on the phone, they chat with them on the chat box, they write an email, but it did not end there, right? The way you chat to the customer, you have to make the customer feel being taken care of, right? So you don't ask, okay, hey, Tui, I want to, to change my pickup time to 7 p.m. tomorrow instead of 5 p.m. And then, yes, of course, I'm going to change the pickup time to 7 p.m. for you. But always I tell the team to say, hey, is there anything else I can help you with? That very specific sentence make us win a lot. Because when I say, hey, is there anything else I can help you with? The customers start to be open more, right? They say, oh, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? That's what I learned from my 10 years hotel business. And I think this is what you asked, right? That still affect the way that I do business today.
So you were a bell person. Then you work in the business of traveling. But I remember that you once said that you wanted to become a teacher in the past when you was a child. That was your dream. But I mean, like now you're working in the business and dreams change, careers change, but things change like that. But is there anything that consistently stays? Like it's like today you're working in the business of your business, but the next day you want to change your career. Then what is the what is the characteristic of that job that you look for? I mean, that there must be something that go through all of your career choice that you always stick to them, no matter what you do, no matter which industry you are.
Yeah, you're very correct because today I can do something, tomorrow you can definitely change to another industry, especially with the fast changing world today. You see the world outside changing every day, right? So yeah, I like to be a teacher when I was very, very little. I don't remember that. A few years ago I came back to my hometown and then I pull a bunch of documents to find my birth certificates, and I found this piece of paper saying that in the future I want to be a teacher, and I realized that wow, really, I used
That was like 10 years ago or like something?
20 years ago,
20 years ago.
25 years ago. I was like 4 or 5 years old back in the day. This is one thing that I found similar to teachers and to this job.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a business owner, but I consider myself as a leader. My team, they like to call me the way that, make fun of me. They call me a dear leader.
Dear leader.
Dear leader.
Dear leader.
Yeah, that they make fun of me, but it's okay. I don't mind. There's one thing in common that I love about being a teacher and I love about being a leader is lead and develop. I constantly repeat this to my people, to my friends, and to my team as well. As a teacher, right, you're not only sharing the knowledge, right? For knowledge, you can just go to internet, you can read the books, you can do a lot of things to gain the same amount of knowledge. But this is something that the teachers that we are always proud of our very own teacher. That's why in Vietnam we have a Vietnamese Teachers Day that not many countries celebrate. But here in Vietnam we honor the teachers a lot. Is that the ability to lead, the ability to inspire, and the ability to develop from low performance student to a good student. For today, the jobs, what I feel is even more difficult is that you're educating an adult. Adult education versus child education is, to me, is big difference, right? An adult, you cannot change him. You can only change yourself that make the person change, right? For example, I want to change you, but I cannot change you. I cannot change the way you think of me. The only way I can change is I can change myself. That inspire you or the team to think that that is a good way to be. So you change. I cannot say, okay, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. If you don't want, I cannot force, right? But I can change myself. That's the only way that you can change, and that is something that I still love. Whatever industry, I can be a businessman today. I can be a hotelier tomorrow. I can be even a vendor, somebody that sell fast food on the street. Same thing. If you don't have the skill sets that is needed to be a leader, and you can sell on the street and you cannot make good money, right? But if you are so passionate of selling on the street, you can have a speaker, right? You don't need a speaker. You can have the speaker. You can perform, at the street, whatever person come by, you explain how you make this food, how many hours you use to make that particular fast food, and what kind of ingredient it has in there, what is story that come out of you, and you make that particular food. So once you're already very knowledgeable about what you're doing, once you are very passionate of what you're doing, I think people will like it, and they will buy your street food products.
I see that you mentioned a lot, so many times, the word inspire. So, what does inspire, inspiration, or get inspired mean to you?
Yes. My team, right? Because my team, I have a more example. There was this girl. She was a mother of two young children. She didn't want to work. She want to quit because the job is very stressful for her. She need to take care of her children. Being a single mom is super challenging for her to both working and taking care of the kid. So she decided to quit. She wrote the resignation letter, and she brought up to me. And then I think I spent a good quality time with her, and to inspire her of what she can do tomorrow is something she could never imagine today, right? We give her example. We give her. I told her that if she committed, this is her future. I did not give her a cake. But I also did not draw her a picture of, this is your future. I give a if clause, right? If you do this, this is what you're going to get. And there's no better example of inspiring than, giving yourself as an example. I've learned many from other leaders that actually their story is actually inspiring me. So I'm trying to use my very own story to inspire others from my very low starting point to where I am today. Some of my team members said that, hey boss, what if, next year I quit and I want to do the same thing that you are doing? Are you going to be very upset of that? I said, no. If you can quit, if you can do exactly what we are doing here, I am very happy and I'm proud of you that you have enough, swing and fair to step out of the comfort zone. I'm very happy of that. Otherwise, it's just a matter of are you ready or not. If you're ready, yes, I'm very proud of you. Otherwise, just stay with us, learn some more skills, and you can go. So, taking yourself as an example is the best way to inspire people.
Wow, I'm feeling inspired by you, by your stories, by your examples. I mean, like, inspiration is something that is very important, not only in career, not only in working, but also in living your life and all the kind of things, because it is what keeps you at night. Like, it's it's 12 o'clock and you're still with your lights on, you're still working, or you're still doing something to keep your family fed, you must have inspiration. You must get inspired by someone that you admire or inspired by anything around you, which is very, very important. And also, I guess that is why our tagline of the show is get inspired, because from stories of the guests like you, we want to inspire everyone, inspire the listeners to, to get out there, to do what they want, and all that sort of thing. I think that is very important. Thank you so much for the story that you bring here today.
You're very welcome.
And the listeners, thank you so much for taking time listening to our podcast. If you have something you want to share, or you have any stories that you want to bring it here, you want to be on the table and you have something, just drop a comment down below and we're going to get to you. Thank you and goodbye. You're listening to Chat.Travel, a podcast series from MyTravelThru.